Erik Horne here with Brett Dawson after the Thunder's 104-94 win over the San Antonio Spurs tonight. Big win for the Thunder. Not only do they get to 5th in the Western Conference with this win, but they do so without their defensive anchor.
Yeah, no Steven Adams for most of the second half. He rolled an ankle. Sprained left ankle is what the Thunder's calling it. We might know something more on Sunday about his status. We did not know anything more about his status after the game. But they got a great defensive effort all the way around, I thought. Paul George was really impactful defensively. Corey Brewer doing the things he does. And the bench was really good, actually, at both ends of the floor.
Yeah, and the bench scored a ton of points tonight. I think they had 50 points. Yeah. With Paul George and Carmelo Anthony struggling the way that they were, somebody else needed to account for those points. The Thunder needed to play good defense, and guys came through. Jeremy Grant had 15, Alex Abrinas with 11, Corey Brewer had 10 points in the first half. A lot of different contributions from a lot of places, and that's what the Thunder needs. They can't rely on Paul George, Carmelo Anthony, Russell Westbrook every night. We saw some of those other contributions in the previous game against Phoenix, and for the second game in a row, the Thunder played a complete game.
Yeah, and really, the other thing, you mentioned all those guys who came off the bench had a big impact. Nick Collison, of all people, comes in a meaningful time in a meaningful game. He said after the game, kind of joked that while he loves the fans always cheering and screaming when he comes in the game, that when it happens in those blowouts like the Phoenix game last week, he feels a little bit like the college walk-on, a little bit like the guy, the victory cigar kid, that everybody's yelling at him to shoot the ball. Tonight he was in meaningful minutes. He got meaningful points. Without Steven Adams, Collison said he kind of knew they would either go to him or to Kari Johnson. It was him, and he really came through. But they got contributions all over the place. You mentioned Carmelo Anthony really wasn't very good, particularly shooting the ball, but Jeremy Grant and Patrick Patterson in that spot played great.
Probably the biggest win of the season for the Thunder, considering the place that they're in now, but they had 15 games to go. Getting this win at this time is critical for them. The first playoff team, or the first team that's in the playoff mix that they've beaten probably since before the All-Star break. I think it's since the beginning of January or before. I think before the All-Star break, because they beat Golden State, actually. Yeah. So it's been more than a month since the Thunder's beaten a legitimate team. Much needed for them going into a back-to-back against Sacramento and Atlanta on Monday, Tuesday.
Got to win those games. Got to win them, because you're going to come back. Friday, I believe, is the start. They play the Clippers. I believe that is the start of 11 straight games against teams with winning records. I think that starts with the Clippers. I know it's coming. They've got a couple of dog games left coming up right now. They got Memphis to close out. Other than that, they're going to be playing good teams. It's time to kind of get in a rhythm.